18-2 record through the first 20 games of the season as the Boilermakers tied for the best in program history at 18-2. What a start it's been for Purdue, including 4 in a row at home as part of this 12-game homestand before the Michigan Wolverines come in this weekend. Kyle Charters with Ben Turner and Greg Goff on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Coach, it's been a heck of a start, 18-2 as we mentioned, tying the record from a few seasons ago. The homestand off to a good start. The challenge really starts, though, now once again with the Wolverines coming in for the weekend. Of course, UCLA, then the weekend after that. But, man, where you stand right now is pretty good.
It has. Our guys have got off to a really good start. They found ways to win in different ways, and we talk about that all the time. Some days we won with our pitching. Some days we won, with our offense. And so I'm just really proud of those guys. And, again, I just looking back like last night's game or whatever and just continuing to win the freebie war, that, margin of turnover with the walks and stolen bases and all those things. It's really been a huge deal. Hit by pitches, 6 of those last night, are allowing us to be able to score some runs whenever maybe we don't hit as well. So just can't think of, these guys have done a really good job so far, and looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned being able to win in a variety of different ways. If you go back to the weekend series against UIC, you won in a traditional way on Friday night, and getting a lead, pitching well, playing really good defense, particularly in the outfield. Saturday, you won, at least for this season, in an atypical way, having to come back after the offense was quiet for the first 7 innings. But then you guys explode for 8 runs, including Logan Sutter's grand slam. We'll talk to Logan about that and other things during the player feature segment a little bit later. But winning in a different way, it does show that your team is able to come back in that fashion. It was good to see. It
is. We got great leadership, Kyle. We got some guys that, Brandon Anderson, Logan Sutter, those guys, they just have great presence in our dugout. They brought just a calmness and they did a really good job. They hadn't gotten sped up. They kind of just play the game. And if you can do that and be consistent about what you do in this game of baseball, it gives you a chance. And so far, so good. And hopefully we'll continue to play that well and continue to get better. We got some dudes that are hurt. I still don't feel like we have reached our pinnacle as far as, playing the best baseball yet.
Sutter wasn't having his best week, especially compared to what we had seen over the first month. But yet the game found him in the 8th inning with, essentially the game on the line.
That's right.
You probably wouldn't have had as good of a chance in the 9th inning. Maybe you would have. We'll see, I guess. But
right.
He comes up with the bases loaded, down a couple runs, and, man, he made it count. Big swing and a big time from, the big man in the lineup.
There's no doubt, Ben, just can't say enough about him and just the start he's had. But other than that, he's playing great defense as well at first. But just, when I look back at the game and went through it, I was just so impressed with the poise that he had, and Brandon and some of those guys had. Albert, had some walks in there, had a 2-strike hit by Lucas Cook. And then, Logan takes the first pitch as a ball and then gets a good swing on a fastball that was 91, I think, 92, and just didn't miss it. So it was he's the right guy, he's the right guy you want up there in that situation. Again, just really poised and just had a good plan and got a good pitch and made him pay for it.
Kind of grinding on the other team. 4th time through the lineup, finally the dam broke on UIC there to win that game. Meanwhile, on Friday, Carter Dorn goes out there, pitches into the 7th inning. He's at 20 consecutive innings now without an earned run. He's given up just 1 earned run all season. I don't know that he was the atypical Friday guy coming into the year based on his profile here at Purdue. Right. He had some summer league success like that. But to do what he's done, especially over the last 4 starts, man, talk about a guy going out there and looking like an ace.
He has, and I think I can't say enough about Coach Newman and his job he's done with our pitching staff. But more than anything, just Carter buying into what he's able to do. I think he's gotten better each week, to be honest with you. I thought the first couple of weeks were a little shaky. I thought we tried to throw more than pitch, and I think he has really settled in as being a Friday night guy that can pitch. I know talking with Sean from UIC, he was really impressed by the way he was able to control the game with his pitches and control the running game and all those types of things. And so I'm just really proud of Carter and what he's done. He's come a long way in 4 years, and really proud of him and what he's doing, and hopefully he'll continue to do that for us on Fridays.
Lucas Cook and Brandon Anderson have been solid on the left side of the infield. They've also been solid at the plate as your 2-3 hitters, really giving, I think, the pitcher some different looks with Lucas from the right side, Anderson from the left, man, Lucas Cook on Tuesday night against Milwaukee had himself another day. It's been impressive to see his maturation as a hitter, I think, in that he went from a couple of years ago before the injury from a guy who wanted to hit the long ball with like every swing. He was trying to crush the ball onto Cherry Lane, it seemed like, and now he's perfectly willing to be a singles, doubles guy, go the opposite way, move runners. It's been a remarkable difference, I think, in sort of his entire approach to the plate.
You're right, Kyle. It's made a big difference, and I think Coach Serrato and Coach Lovelady did a great job. And Lucas, you got one thing, you have a plan, but then you got to get the players to buy into the plan, and just to see him mature and understand what hitting is about, and he's in a really good place. He's using the whole field. He doesn't get sped up. You don't ever see him really chase a lot of pitches, and so just again another guy that we didn't even know would be playing for us this time before the season, and so I think good things happen to good people, and he's worked extremely, extremely hard. I remember this summer seeing him working out and things of that nature and putting in the time, and hard work pays off, and he's definitely a product of that.
And Anderson just approaches the game like a professional. I think that's probably a little bit of his upbringing. But you look at his game, and there's really not an area where he has a glaring weakness. He's a plus defender. He's got a plus arm, a left-handed bat, doesn't strike out a lot, has a good eye, he can hit for some power, hit for average. I mean, he does a little bit of everything for you.
He does, and again, I think more than anything, he just brings that calmness to our team. And, I think he loves the game. He's been brought up the right way with his mom being a coach, a softball coach at Eastern Kentucky. He just has great presence, and just so thankful that he's a Boilermaker and he's really helping us win.
You mentioned the injuries briefly. Houston Russell has really been pressed into action in a full-time role at catcher as of late, and he's really been solid for you.
Yes.
Considering that the playing time was split early, Sergio had that lat injury the third weekend. Showtime for Houston, and it's good to see him step up.
It is. Another guy that has worked extremely hard and waited his opportunity, and the game allowed him to get in there, and so just really tough. I thought last night, especially taking that ball off the helmet there, just shows some toughness. I get on him all the time about being from Oklahoma and how tough they are out there. I told him last night, gave him a big hug last night, said, I will never challenge you again on toughness, my man. You are tough, and comes from a great family, and just a baseball player, Ben. That's the thing we have. You see, we just got a bunch of baseball players. Yeah. They love to play baseball. I'm walking out after practice the other night, and Anderson, and I don't know who else was out there, but somebody was just sitting on the grass out there in the outfield. You could just tell them they're just taking it in, the weather. We just got a bunch of guys that love to play the game.
Keenan Spence, oh my, 498 feet onto Cherry Lane, longest home run we've ever seen at Alexander Field. He has his ups and downs occasionally, but he can be a series wrecker like he was at Minnesota.
Right.
And man, when he lights one up, when he zones one in and lights it up, man, nobody hits it that far. There's nothing you could say about that really, except that, oh my goodness.
Well, let's hope. I'm glad there wasn't a car coming by. That's a long way out there, and again, Keenan is a hard worker, man, loves the game, and takes a lot of pride in his game. And to see him, get hot for us like he has the last few weeks, has been awesome to see. And he's a guy that can carry you, and hopefully he'll continue to do that this weekend as we play a tough Michigan team and UCLA team coming up in 2 weeks.
Really extends the lineup for you. Put him in the 6-7 hole somewhere in there. I mean, you got a big, dangerous guy hitting 6th in the lineup. That's not everybody can claim that.
No, they're not. And you got big C.J. Richmond sitting over there trying to heal off that hamate issue, and you got Sergio healing over there. If we can just get these guys healthy and continue to play well. And continue to pitch and play defense. I'm really excited about this team.
Brandon Rogers has emerged, too, at center field here over the last week or 10 days. Brandon makes me nervous at times.
Does he? Really?
Playing center field.
I'm glad somebody else gets nervous.
But his ability He makes me nervous because he has such great confidence, I think, in himself that he knows he's going to go get it.
Yeah.
And he does.
Right.
He made a great diving catch, I think, in the Friday game, I believe, late in that contest. But he's a multi-talented, multi-tool player for you, and that has shown up here over the last week.
It has, and again, another guy that hadn't played a bunch, just kind of rotated in and out, and he's really taken that spot. And I think last night was the first night that we had been beaten over our heads. The first time that we hadn't caught a ball that stayed in the park. And we probably had him in a little bit. It's 2 strikes. Probably had him in a little bit too much with the wind blowing out. And he almost caught that ball off the wall. So just a great athlete and a great kid that really works hard. And I think is continuing to improve as we go through the season.
Michigan in town this weekend. To me, it always feels like a big series when the Wolverines are here. 2018 played a big series against Michigan, and what proved to be, I think, a turning point for an NCAA regional bid. Man, it'll be a fun series in Alexander this weekend for sure.
It will. They're really good. They got some really good arms. They're older team, and so it was back there. That was my first year here. When we played Michigan, I turned in pitching coach that weekend. Coach Holm had his wife had that baby that weekend, and so he got us through on Friday, and then had to go take care of some family business Saturday and Sunday. So I remember that vividly. So hopefully we can have the same luck as we did that weekend for sure.
For sure, will be a big weekend. Thanks, Coach. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll bring in Logan Sutter. We'll talk to him a little bit about the start to his big season and preview that matchup against the Wolverines as well. We'll take a break on This Week in Purdue Baseball.
Play championship golf at the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Enjoy great food and great drinks at the new Pete Dye Clubhouse. And shop official Purdue gear at the Purdue Pro Shop. Experience it all now at PurdueGolf.com.
Let's bring in Logan Sutter on This Week in Purdue Baseball. Talk about the Boilermakers' hot start to this season for you and for the team. Those things have sort of gone together through the first 20 games of this year. You've been playing some pretty solid baseball. What's been the key?
Just try not to do too much, just whatever I can to help the team win.
Yeah, you've been able to do that for sure, and in a variety of different ways. Got off to a hot start to the season, to say the least. You had a 3-double game the first weekend. You had a 6-hit game the Saturday against Niagara. The next weekend, a go-ahead grand slam in the 8th inning at Alexander this last weekend. I mean, you've been doing it certainly at the plate, the fastest to 30 RBI in school history. I think you're up to 35 or 36 now. So it's been quite the run. What's been your approach?
Just trying to stay short to the ball, try to get a fastball, something in the zone I can handle. Just try not to do too much with it.
You got a fastball on Saturday against UIC. I would imagine a little bit in, fastball a little in.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that's what you were looking for? And in that spot, your team had been scuffling a little bit offensively. Just 2 hits through the first 7 innings against UIC. You come up with the bases loaded. You're probably looking to hit it somewhere to drive home a couple of runs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get some out over the plate that I can hit backside, but got a little adrenaline going, so moved a little quicker to the ball. But yeah, no, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Kyle went through some of those single-day highlights that you've had. Did you have one that you kind of felt most proudly about? I mean, that's pretty unique. 3 doubles is tough to do. They're pretty rare. Go-ahead grand slam in the 8th inning. You don't see that one very often. And the 6-hit game, last time we checked, that's still the only one in the country. Mm-hmm. Was there any of those 3 that you kind of felt most proud about?
I think the grand slam was the coolest. I mean, coming up in a big spot where we needed something to get going. I think that one was my favorite one.
Yeah, so as the cleanup hitter, that's the ideal situation, 4th time through the lineup. I suppose you got to tip your cap to guys like Albert Choi, Lucas Cook, Brandon Anderson, what they've been able to do as a 1-2-3 combination in front of you this season. That's a big reason you're already at 35 RBIs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're a big portion of those RBIs, and I think BA's done a really good job of, especially even when he gets to 2 strikes, he works the count and ends up getting a walk or a hit by pitch. So they've done a really good job.
In what ways do you feel like you're a more complete baseball player this season rather than last? We've seen some guys like you who've come through that first year and sort of had some success, but then the second year in particular, like Connor Kaskin, I think is a good example. That second year they really mature as a hitter. What sort of things you improved upon, you feel like, from year 1 to year 2?
I think just my play discipline's got a lot better. I've just been swinging at pitches that I can handle, not trying to chase too much. And then obviously defense is a lot better this year. Getting more opportunity to play in the field has been good. So
Yeah. You're traditionally a third baseman. We saw that you play there a little bit with Joe Stevens last year. You played a lot at first base. Probably some of those skills at third base translate to first, I would imagine. But, we've seen your range be really good at first base. We've seen you scoop some balls out, including a couple against Milwaukee in the midweek game. Just do you feel like you've been pretty comfortable there at first?
yeah, it took a couple games to get used to it, but I've definitely gotten comfortable. Just kind of feeling. The hardest part at the beginning was feeling around the bag, like being able to get to the bag and get my feet in the right position. So
Yeah.
I've gotten comfortable with it.
Did you feel like you had to be maybe even a little bit more selective over maybe weekends 2, 3, 4 after that 6-hit game when you really kind of burst on the scene? It felt like people weren't really pitching to you a whole lot during that stretch, especially. Did that kind of go into your head like, hey, they're not throwing me any strikes right now. I don't want to get myself out?
Not too much. I don't want to think about it too much because then I'll miss something that I think I should hit. I just try to stick with my approach, and if they go into my approach, then I'll hammer it.
Aaron Manius did get red hot behind you in the lineup as March arrived here and had big-time player of the week honors just like you for that as well. To have that combination of you two going as well as you were that first week as Big Ten play arrived, that had to be pretty good for the entire roster in terms of confidence.
Oh yeah, that was huge. Especially with CJ going down, we needed someone to step up, and he did a great job of doing that.
I thought that your opposite field hitting inside U.S. Bank was really elite that weekend. I don't know if that was just how it played out or if that was the approach more that weekend based on how Minnesota was pitching you specifically.
Yeah, I've always been good going backside. They were throwing me away a lot, so I was just trying not to pull and roll anything over, just trying to stay inside it.
So where were you sitting Tuesday night for Keenan Spence's home run? Did you get a good look at it off the bat? Went 498 feet on Cherry Lane.
I was pretty close to the front of the dugout. That was sweet. That was crazy. I was not surprised when I heard it went that far.
Yeah. Have you seen many baseballs travel that far?
No, that was crazy. I think he's probably one of the only people in the country that could do that.
I don't know if you were involved in the conversation or not, but I heard some of you talk when we were at U.S. Bank about whether you could hit a baseball that would hit off that giant video board in left field. I'm not sure how far away that was, but maybe Spence's ball would have gotten at least close to that thing.
Yeah, I was one of the people that said it wouldn't be possible, but I think that one's close to it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He had quite the weekend in Minneapolis to really help wreck that series. You and Manius as well. To have that many guys going as well as you did that weekend was amazing to see. Pitching-wise for us, through the fall and then preseason practice, who do you feel like are some of your tough matchups among our staff?
I would say early this spring it was Easton. He had my number this spring.
Left, right. Do you feel like you face or match up better against some lefties versus righties? Or does that matter?
I think typically I was more comfortable, especially last year against righties, but I've gotten more comfortable with lefties this year.
Sutter Butter, tell us a little bit about the nickname. Did it come with you from California? Did one of the guys here kind of come up with it? Usually the best nicknames are ones that are given to you by a teammate.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys at my JUCO called me that, and then it just kind of stuck. It just kind of kept going.
Because you're smooth? Is that what the...
I don't even know. They just called it.
It rhymes nicely.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'd love to give you a chance to give some shout-outs to teammates, maybe somebody that's flying below the radar a little bit or not getting enough love. Who deserves a shout-out on This Week in Purdue Baseball?
I would say Breck. He's been working hard. He's had a great attitude, and he's just been a good teammate the whole season.
Yeah, you guys got no shortage of first basemen. Obviously, C.J. Richmond injured right now. You, Breck, you guys have a lot of experience over there. Luckily, there's a DH spot, too, so you can get some other guys some at-bats. But what's that been like, to have you guys all, sort of over there at that position?
It's good and bad. You want to get all of us in the lineup, obviously, but, Breck's done a really good job helping me at first, especially early on when I was trying to get used to it. But I think it's good and bad. There's plenty of depth. If someone goes down, we got another guy that's there to step up.
Right.
I would just try to learn more about you in our personal preferences segment. There are no wrong answers, but we do have you pick a number between 1 and 21 this week.
I'll go 21.
21. Your current or last pet of note?
I had a dog named Happy growing up.
Was he a certain kind of breed?
Chocolate Lab.
Nice. Happy
All
the
right.
Chocolate Lab.
There you go.
Between 1 and 21, don't pick 21.
6.
6. Favorite pro or college field you've played at besides Alexander?
Wrigley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty easy one.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a good
between
one.
1 and 20, don't pick 6.
I will go 13.
Favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Any flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Always my favorite as well.
Some good choices there for sure. Michigan coming into town this weekend. We get back into Big Ten play. These next two series, Michigan, UCLA, going to be huge. We get them here at Alexander. You guys are off to obviously a very hot start to the season, but play a couple of good teams here coming up. Just how do you guys keep it going?
Just keep doing what we've been doing. Try to do whatever we can for the team, not for ourselves. Just keep rolling.
Seems like you guys are confident, but working hard, but also, have some veteran guys who sort of have a professional-like approach to the plate. Is that how you guys are approach to the game? Is that how you guys are sort of treating the season a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of do whatever we can to help the team win. Yeah.
Cool. Will be a great weekend for sure. We're looking forward to seeing you out there against Michigan and hopefully continuing your personal and the team's hot start to the season. All right, that'll do it for our show for this week. Of course, the podcast back at this time every week. Thanks to Logan Sutter for stopping by, Greg Goff earlier, for Ben Turner and producer Corey Plum. I'm Kyle.